right, so hello everybody. It's 6 o'clock and this is a virtual version of our Young 5 Kindergarten information night for all of our kids who are coming to Trails next year as big students at school. Before I start, I just want to introduce some key people to you that are here as panelists tonight. They'll be able to answer questions if I can't. They might even want to answer questions if I can. Maybe I'll get it wrong and they'll want to fix what I say. Chrissy Brott is our registrar, and she's the one who's in charge of registering all of our new kids, not preschool, kindergarten through 12th grade. And she's going to talk a little bit later on to make sure that you have all the specific details about enrolling for Young 5 in kindergarten. Carrie Mellema is our lead administrative assistant at Trails, and she is the primary person in charge of getting all of our incoming kindergarten and Young 5 kiddos enrolled in our building and in Power School. And she's my right-hand gal all summer long while we make class lists and get everybody ready. Jenny Drew is our administrative assistant as well. She's in charge primarily, especially, of enrolling all of our preschool kiddos for next year, but then she is Carrie's right-hand gal, getting all of our Young 5 and kindergarten friends registered C, and they love each other. They're good friends. And Mr. Smith, Scott, is our superintendent, and he is also acting as behind-the-scenes tech man tonight to make sure that if I pass out because I talk too fast and don't breathe enough, he'll just jump right in and take over the presentation. It'll be perfect. Mr. Smith is recording this tonight, so if you hear of people who couldn't come tonight, we're going to have it posted on the website tomorrow, and I will show you as part of the presentation how you can find it tonight. So I'm going to be kind of monitoring the chat for questions as they come in, and then there's another way that you can ask questions too, in the question and answer box down there, right, Scott? So these four other lovely people are also going to be helping monitor the chat boxes and the question and answer boxes in case it starts going too fast and I can't keep up with everything. I'm going to check right now because there's one in there. We got it. Everybody who couldn't hear can hear. And Jake said hello. Hello back, Jake. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I have a kind of a PowerPoint that we're going to walk through and ask questions as you have them. And oops, wait, one moment, please. I forgot to do something. Ask questions as you have them, and I will do my best to answer them as we go. I forgot that I put a movie in here that has some sound, so I wanted to make sure that you could hear it. All right, shrink you guys out of the way. And how about if we go to the beginning? Now you're getting like the backwards preview of my whole PowerPoint. All right, here we are. Welcome to Kindergarten Young 5 Information Night. I'm super glad that you're here. We're going to start tonight by introducing our staff. Now, usually we would be in person, but COVID is not letting us do that. So I'm going to tell you about all the people that you're going to be able to meet next year. And then I have a little video so you can see my Carrie, Jenny, and our other secretary, Tara, in action, because they would usually be here in person to answer your questions and help tonight. So I'm Beth Whaley, and I'm the principal at Cedar Trails. I am passionate about early childhood. I was a GSRP preschool teacher for 24 years for my teaching career. And then I worked for the Ingham ISD as a supervisor of GSRP teachers, helping them implement developmentally appropriate practices and become really, really excellent teachers for little kids. And then I went back and got my second master's degree in administration because it isn't very often that school administrators come from early childhood. They usually tend to be secondary teachers, middle school and high school teachers who decide they want to be principals, which is fantastic. Unless you have a building like Cedar Trails, which is preschool through first grade, it's all early childhood. And that's the kind of building that I taught preschool in. And what happens when you have a building that's all early childhood and your principal is a math teacher from high school. They really don't know that little kids learn differently than big kids. And I thought it would be amazing to be able to run an early childhood building that was developmentally appropriate and that met all of the needs of our youngest learners. The best part about early childhood and about Cedar Trails is that brain development really happens until kids are about 6 years old. And that means that the more experiences they have and more opportunities they have, literally, the bigger their brain grows. They get more synapse connections. And at about 6 years old, that growth actually stops. However many synapse connections you've made by the time you're 6, that's how many you'll have for the rest of your life. So it's this really amazing opportunity in child development to mold the minds of mush. I like to think about this time as the perfect opportunity to curate all of my Spartan fans, bring them away from any Michigan fans that are out there and teach them that MSU is the school to beat. Of course, you know I'm kidding. Courtney O'Brien is our Dean of Students here at Trails, and she helps us with classroom management and behaviors. As I introduced, Carrie Mellema and Jenny Drew, they're both here. They're two of our secretaries, and Tara Black's our third secretary. We have two young five teachers at Trails, Carrie Dalton, Audrey Debris. And then we have 13 kindergarten teachers, and they're all listed there. If you've had kids in our school before, you might recognize a lot of those names. Our staff is either really experienced veteran teachers or new. We have nobody in the middle, just both ends, which makes for some really great learning opportunities because the veteran teachers have some amazing, great classroom management and content ideas. And the new teachers are all really enthusiastic from school and all of the new strategies, and they can come together and build these really dynamic relationships. All of our kids at Trails get specials classes too. So we have 5 specials teachers. Kim Davis teaches music, Sadie Gallagher and Lori Van Dam job share our reading using technology position. Chris Ripma is our PE teacher, and Herb Vanderlucht, also known as Mr. Tall, is our art teacher. And then the other thing that's really unique about Cedar Trails is that Cedar Springs Public Schools really believes that you can have the most bang for your buck and the most impact if you can really help parents and families support kids to be successful at school from the earliest age. So we are lucky enough at Trails to have a really strong behavioral mental health support team that can wrap around families and really teach kids what it means to be a good person and to share and to take care of each other in our society. We've got Elizabeth Gleishaw and Linnell Farmer both have resource room in my building. I also have an occupational therapist named Kim Boboltz, and she has an assistant, Nicole Lammers. We have a school psychologist, Dr. Mai Lin. We have 2 social workers that work in our building, Ephraim Rosales and Ashley Myers. We have 3 speech pathologists because lots of little kids need help with their sounds. Krista O, Brianna Strugala, and Montel Curtis. We have our own school counselor full-time, Christine Anderson. We also have a second full-time clinician that works in our building as a therapist. Her name is Elise Wapert, and she works here in a collaborative relationship that we have with Arbor Circle. And she can actually do therapy with kids at school, but she can also do therapy with kids at home if that's easier for families. And then we also have a great relationship with DHHS. They have a special program called Pathway to Progress, where Margaret Root is actually a DHHS employee that has an office right in our building. So if families need help with food stamps or Medicare or Medicaid or any of those things, she's right in our building. You can come drop your kiddos off and have an appointment, and they're right here to wrap around and help everybody. We also do great things for our families in other health areas. For example, we do the mobile dentist every fall, and the dentist actually comes here, and we turn our conference room into a traveling dentist office. Cherry Health is right on campus here, and we can get kids. They have a little van, and you'll sign permission paperwork. If you're interested at the beginning of the year, they can come pick kids up, take them over for appointments, and bring them back, and for counseling too. It's a great system set up for families at Trails. as I said, I was going to share a video of so you could see the office staff in action, and it's kind of goofy, but you can also get a peek into the fun that is Cedar Trails. We made that last year because kids couldn't come in the building to see what was what, and we just wanted you to be able to kids to be able to recognize faces when they showed up on the first day. Oh, okay, let's see. I gotta go blue, I gotta go green, I go white, I got a very cool. I'll take all that. All right. I'm gonna go over this really quickly, and then I'm gonna let Mrs. Brock give you a more detailed information about registration because she's passionate about it. Open enrollment is going to be ready online April 1st. It's probably actually going to be ready sooner than that, but April 1st is the latest that'll be open. And if you have a current Young 5 kiddo, they're automatically enrolled in kindergarten. So Young 5 students, as far as the state goes and as far as Cedar Springs Public Schools goes, Young 5 students are already kindergarten students. So they are automatically enrolled for kindergarten next year. If your current year in school is preschool, you have to register. So if you're in GSRP or our tuition program, or your child has never been anywhere, you have to register for next year. It's not an automatic process, okay? And then after you're enrolled, you'll get a welcome letter from your child's teacher in August telling you when the first day of school is and who their teacher's going to be. And as long as COVID is a thing of the past, we will also have an open house and a time for them to come and see their classrooms and find their cubbies and find out where the bathroom is in their room. Very important information. The way that it works, I'm going to show you the link is here. And we're going to, as I said, we're going to post the video on our enrollment page, but we're also going to post this slide deck so you can get the links from this as well. But it's the CS Red Hawks main page. So when you go to the Cedar Springs Public Schools website, it looks like this when you click that link, and you're just going to go to the enrollment tab and you're going to enroll for fall. I'm going to scroll this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, enroll for fall. And it's got little details here about how you start the enrollment process, and it explains that you've got forms to fill out by clicking this link right here. And then once you get all the forms filled out, you actually email or call Chrissy, who's on the call, and set up an appointment with her, and she confirms all of your paperwork. Down here, there's just a little bit of a blurb specifically for kindergarten families. Just reminding you that preschool families have to re-enroll, that to come to kindergarten this year, your kiddo has to be 5 years old on or before September 1st. And that everybody that comes to kindergarten needs to have documentation of hearing and vision screening. And we will also hold appointments here at school for that. So if you haven't had that, that'll be information that's coming out too. And if you're interested in enrolling for the Young 5 program, there's just one extra piece of paper that you fill out. You do the whole enrollment packet for kindergarten with one extra piece of paper that says you're interested in Young 5. Young 5 is for kiddos who are turning 5 between September 2nd and December 1st. And you have to complete an age waiver, and then you can register that way. Talk a little bit more about Young 5 in a second, but I want to stop sharing my screen and give Mrs. Brott a chance to share the details.
All right, can you hear me? I mean, I don't know if anyone can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So good. Hi, everybody. So I am so excited because we have 3 different ways for you to submit your documents this year. But before I go ahead with that, thank you, Mrs. Whaley, for doing a demonstration of how to get on there. I just want to make one little correction. You can make an appointment inside the form. So after you're finished with it, you just click here. It says click here for next step to make an appointment, and then you just click here. Our appointments don't start until April 12th, but you can make an appointment. You can even, right now I've made it so you can upload your documents online and you don't have to come in, or you can upload them via email, and I can send you an email after you're finished with the form. Don't upload documents before you fill out the form. If you have any problems, any at all, anything that you're like, I don't know where the birth certificate is, I don't have a proof of residency, I live with my aunt, anything, call me. We'll walk you through it. If you have trouble with the form, if you don't have internet access, if you just have, other questions, this is my big time of year where I calm everybody down and get real excited about kindergarten. And I'm so excited because I think that we've made it safe so that people can come in. And though I'm not Mrs. Whaley, I'm somebody, and they can see somebody from Cedar Springs, and we talk about what next steps are. I have made it on the form so that you can fill out the Young 5s and the kindergarten waiver right there. And then you'll just fill it out on your phone or on your computer or on your tablet. You can save it and then email it to me. You can save it and then come to the office and I'll print it off for you. We'll figure it out. So I have whatever you need. We will walk you through this. I don't think if your school's a choice, that was the other thing. If your school's a choice, those forms are going to be available on April 12th. And if you need to know, I don't know if I'm school's a choice, we're right on the line, call me or email me your address, and I would be so happy to look that up for you. I don't know if I've covered everything.
I don't see any questions for you yet. Oh, can you get them sooner than the 12th?
No, unfortunately, the state won't allow it. So we have to open it on the 12th, and it closes on May 14th at 4 p.m. They're very strict about that. So
as you can tell, Chrissy is very passionate about enrollment. I wasn't kidding about that. She loves to help people enroll for kindergarten and Young 5. And she's got some little kiddos herself. And so she knows what it's like. And so she meant it when she said, bring your kids with you, and she'll say hello. She loves to visit with babies. It's the truth. It's the truth. I had a question in the chat. Oh, Ashley loves your energy, Chrissy. I also love your energy. Yeah, okay. I have a question in the chat about Young 5 and who can come, and that is coming up in just a second. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I saw your question. Chrissy, anything else? School of choice. They can register for your meeting right through the link because you're magic. I didn't even realize that.
Yep.
I know my son is all okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. We're going to talk about Young 5. I promise we'll talk about Young 5. And then at the end of the meeting, I'll go through those questions quickly one more time, make sure I didn't miss anything. You keep typing them in there. All right. I'm going to go back to sharing my presentation with you. Okay. So, as I said, easy peasy registration. They have made it digital and everything is there. And as Chrissy said, if you don't have access to a computer, she will walk you through it and help you with all of it. It's just at our main csredhawks.org website under the enrollment tab. So Trails is our early childhood building at Cedar Springs. And we really have 3 main programs here. We have preschool too, but I'm only talking about the main programs for your kids tonight. Of course, we have first grade here as well. So to clarify the difference between kindergarten and young five, both programs run the same amount of time every day. The kindergarten curriculum has expectations at the end of the year, and the expectations for young five are basically the half year expectations for kindergarten. Young five is really for kiddos who are on that age waiver. They turn 5 between September 2nd and December 1st, and they really have had little or no preschool experience. It's for kiddos who haven't been to school, who need to practice things that they might usually practice in preschool. We provide transportation, just like we do for kindergarten. They have lunch availability and breakfast availability, just like we do for kindergarten and first grade as well. I know there are questions in the chat. Can my kiddo come with a late August birthday? The September 2nd to December 1st guideline is the first priority kids, the ones who genuinely are young for kindergarten. And so those kiddos get first priority in placement. I start with the youngest kid possible. So that would be a December 1st birthday, and I put them in reverse birthday order, and fit in as many kiddos as I can until the classes are full. We cap those young five classes at 20. So I have 40 openings for young five, but we'll only fill 18 in each classroom for the beginning of the year, because we like to have a little cushion in case some kindergarten kids come who maybe should be in young five and they would like to transfer back. But also kids who, I have had some kids who start in young five, and it becomes pretty apparent pretty quickly that they would be better in kindergarten. So kind of have the month of September to finalize those placements to make sure that our kiddos are exactly where they should be. Yeah, that being said, as long as we don't have COVID next year, our school day here at Trails is 8:30 to 3:30. We provide transportation for all of our kids who come here. And like I said, we have breakfast and lunch food service available. Our before and after school program at Cedar Springs is called Campus Kids. And that service is available Monday through Friday from 6 in the morning until school starts, and from after school until 6 p.m. All of our Trails kids stay right at Trails for their Campus Kids coverage. They get an after school snack as part of that. It's tuition based. You pay for it based on how many days you register for. And you have to pre-register. There's no drop-in care, because we have to make sure that we have all the paperwork on file to keep your babies safe. I'm going to check my chat here just for a second. Yeah, so is there flexibility on young five versus kindergarten birthdays? There is a bit of flexibility. I know my son is already in third, so I'm worried my daughter won't be able to attend. That must be a school of choice question, I'm guessing. And if you have older kiddos that are already coming to Cedar Springs School of Choice, your younger kiddos get some priority around that too. Okay. All right. That looks like everything in the chat right now. Again, eligibility to come to kindergarten, your child has to be 5 before September 1st. There's no flexibility about that. That's a state law. Kiddos have to be 5 by September 1st to come to kindergarten. They have to be toilet trained unless they have a personal care plan on a special ed IEP or something. And kids on the age waiver, again, that's with the birthday between September 2nd and December 1st, have first priority for young five. Might wonder what kindergarten looks like. If your kid had a full day of preschool as a 4-year-old, it looks a lot like that. We start every day with a morning meeting, and kids all come. Okay, I'm talking no COVID guidance right here. This is if we're all healthy and the world is not in a pandemic. In the morning, our kids start their day every day coming together and sitting in a circle in their classroom with morning meeting, and they intentionally greet each other. They do a morning message together. They talk about what their day is gonna entail, and they share good news with each other. And it's really the part of their day where they get to build community and turn their classroom into a family. It's my favorite part of the day to sit in and listen to. Part of our day at Cedar Trails for first grade and kindergarten and young five is 90 minutes a day is set aside for literacy. You know that having a 5-year-old sit for 90 minutes would be craziness. So I'm not saying that it's 90 minutes all at one time, but over the course of the day, 90 minutes of time is literacy based. learning how to read. We have on top of that a 30-minute intervention block. And that's where, so the 90-minute literacy block is the same instruction for everybody to make sure everybody gets the same great literacy instruction. The 30-minute intervention block is so that everybody gets an additional 30 minutes of instruction at their just right level. So if your kiddo comes to kindergarten, they already know all their letters and their sounds and they're starting to read, they're going to get 30 minutes of enrichment activity. If your child has never been to school at all, or maybe they had a speech issue when they were young and they just recently started talking, they need some extra support with literacy. They'll get a 30-minute extras a day at the support at the level that they need exactly. Every day we have lunch and recess. We have quiet time for just a very short time after recess and lunch every day. We even do that in first grade too. It's not nap time. It's just a quiet time. Usually the teacher reads and they have the lights down low. We'll have 90 minutes of math a day. They get science and social studies experience. As I said earlier, they get specials. Every kid gets PE, art, music, and reading using technology every week. At Trails, because our kids are little and they learn best through play, they're going to have choice time every day, which is sort of open play time that the teacher organizes the materials that are in the room and can actually play and interact with kids in play that they develop themselves. And or they get a second recess. And then every day ends with a closing circle, which is very much like the morning meeting, but it's a wrap up of their day. And they talk about what went well, what things they might want to change or revisit for tomorrow, and what they can look forward to the next day. I'm going to check my chat here. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So Chrissy said, yes, school of choice. I want to ease your mind and let you know that siblings are taken care of and taken into account if you have older siblings who are already here for school of choice. Here is a question. My daughter is old for her preschool class. 5 on July 31st. She's goes Tuesdays and Thursdays, and she has no daycare or school experience other than this year of a 2-day preschool. I tried to write down the age limit, but I think kindergarten is the only wise option for us. With the July 31st birthday, she can definitely come to kindergarten. She makes the cutoff for kindergarten, and we would love to have her. I think I answered, I think that's what you were asking, no problem. When will we find out if our child got into the Young 5 program? Her birthday's on September 9th, so she's farther down the priority list. So far, this will be my 4th year at Cedar Trails this coming fall, and we have never been able to not place all the kids on the age waiver. So with a September 9th birthday, you can be pretty sure that she will get in. Officially, everybody finds out when they get their letter in August from their teacher. Let's see what else I have here. I have a granddaughter in ECSE. Does she need to register for kindergarten? Yes. I'm going to say yes, and Chrissy's going to say no if I'm wrong. But because it's preschool and it's a regional program, I think, yes, we do have to register her. Oh, Carrie Mellon is answering questions in here too. Yes, she does. Oh, Chrissy already answered it too. Oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't know you were going to answer questions for me. Do kindergartners ride the same bus as 1st through 5th grade? Wondering if my daughter will ride with her sibling. Yes, they do. What do we need to do between April 12th and May 15th? Sorry, the kids were a little loud when you explained. On April 12th, our online registration will be open, and there's a link that you click. You just go to the Cedar Springs Public Schools website, click enroll, and then you can do all of the paperwork and make an appointment to meet with Chrissy. And yes, Chrissy, go.
Okay, so April 12th through, so actually I forgot to say that the online enrollment is open. Sorry, that was like I should have said that. So anyone can go in and enroll for anything. April 12th through May 14th is the schools of choice. That's the separate thing. And but if you'd like to enroll your child before you get your schools of choice form, go ahead and do it. I say get it out of the way. Okay, sorry.
Chrissy, here's another question, so maybe you can answer this one. Do most kids get into kindergarten with school of choice?
Well, I'm not allowed to, I don't make the decision. I have never seen, I've only been here for 3 years. I've never seen a kindergartner get rejected. But I'm not the decision maker, so I can never guarantee.
There's never a guarantee for anything in this life, but I
That's
do know
right.
that Cedar Springs is very welcoming to our neighbors.
Yeah.
I do know
We
that.
like kindergartners.
We like kindergarten. Exactly. We might kick them out when they're like, in 7th grade and they're irritating. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If they're in, they're in. One more question before I go back to the presentation. I'm wondering more about busing. How do we find a bus stop for our kids? When you get enrolled, transportation gets all of your information, and then they send out communication in August and tell you what time your bus will be where. It's a lovely system they have. They're very, very organized at transportation. Some of the stuff that is so important to me, and again, it's why I became a principal so that I could lead early learning. These are the things that we believe at Cedar Trails. The majority of my teachers all have early childhood endorsements, as do I. And so everybody who teaches here really has a passion for our youngest learners. And as some of you are mentioning in the chat with your own kids screaming at home, you have to have a special kind of heart to be surrounding yourself every day with 5 and 6-year-olds. We know that kids learn best through hands-on child-led play. And so we work so hard in this building that every content area has manipulatives. When they do math, they use toys to move the math. And when they are learning to write and to read, we make sure that their experiences are tied to information and exposure to things that are interesting to them so that they're really drawn to it. We also know that a ton of learning actually happens when kids are able to design their own play, which is why we have choice time every day. So much learning can happen through pretend play or through building with blocks. You learn so much physics and counting and math and balance and shape definitions and colors, all of those things, just by building with simple building blocks. And all of the social skills that happen when kids are cooperating and collaborating and sometimes disagreeing about how to design their play is some of the most important learning that happens for our little kids. We know that every child learns at their own rate and in a different way. We have end of year expectations that we want all of our kids to hit, but how every kid gets there looks completely different throughout the year. Our teachers are experts at differentiating instruction so that everybody gets what they need in a way that they need it. And to that point, being ready for kindergarten means that we are ready for your kid. The only thing that your child has to do to be ready for kindergarten or young 5 is have the right birthday. Our job is to take your baby, however they come to us, and help them get ready for 1st grade. And that's us. Ready for kindergarten means we are ready for your children. And super important, nobody knows your kiddo better than you. So we believe wholeheartedly that the best way for kids to succeed in school is for their family and their teachers to wrap around their kiddo together in a team that really works together to figure out what's best for every child. I keep saying we're not going to have COVID in the hall or in the fall, fingers crossed, but in case we do still have some of that around, I just wanted to let you know what our COVID protocols are this year, which would be similar next year if they're still in place. When I post this, you'll be able to click this link, which actually takes you to the Cedar Springs website again with our whole big list of COVID protocols. But just to highlight some of the big ones, every kid and adult at Cedar Trails wears a mask at all times. It is really hard to keep 5 and 6-year-olds 3 to 6 feet apart from each other because we know that the best thing about school for little kids is the social part, figuring out who they are and how they relate to other people and how to share materials and learn together and be a good global citizen. And it's really hard for 5-year-olds to stay apart. So we wear those masks at Trails all the time, even when we're outside for recess, because it's hard to stay apart on the playground too. We have every classroom in our building has an outside door. And so this year, all of our kids are coming in and out of their classroom through their own private outside door. So we do not have masses of kids in the hallways at all. And each classroom stays in its own little pod. So they come in their classroom, they're in their classroom all day, they go out their classroom door, they come back in. Every classroom also has a hand sanitizer at the door, and the kids know that they hand sanitize on the way in and they hand sanitize on the way out every time they go through the door. We have spread out, we're using our cafeteria and our gym and our art room all as lunchrooms this year so that we have no more than 2 classes in any one big space at the same time, which lets us really space the kids out. And each classroom is partnered with another classroom, and that is the only other classroom that they are ever exposed to throughout the whole entire day. They have recess together, they have specials together, they have lunch together. So the only other class they are exposed to is their own partner class. And this year, our specials teachers, because we took over their classrooms for lunch, have all come together and they're actually doing specials outside this year, and we're calling it outdoor rec. And every 50-minute special session is incorporating music and movement and literacy and art into the same outdoor space. So every kid is getting all of the content in those specials areas every day. And then that way, those specials teachers, instead of Mr. Tall seeing every kid every day for art, he's seeing his 6 classes, the same 6 classes every day, and he is teaching them art and music and PE and literacy all together at the same time. It's really worked great. We have not had one case of a kid infecting another kid at Trails this year at all. So our safety protocols are really working well. Okay, a couple more questions. Let's see. Wondering more about busing. Oh, no, I already answered that one. No. Yes, I did. So there's no way to check Young 5 enrollment. I know you said you have never had a problem, but it is hard to know until August, and there might be not enough room. So on that Young 5 form, there's a box that you check that says, I prefer Young 5, but I would take kindergarten if I didn't get into Young 5. Okay, so you cannot check that kindergarten box, and then I know you're really serious about Young 5, and that if you don't get Young 5, you're going to go to preschool or something like that. The other thing you can do, but it's really hard on me, is you can call, but I'm the only one who works here until about the middle of August. So it might be tricky for me to get back to everybody, but lots of people wonder if they're in Young 5 or not. And I will tell you, we have said every year that if we can't get all of our age waiver kids into Young 5, we would open another section if we had to. So you can feel, I would say 95% sure that if your child is on the age waiver, they will get into Young 5. And I can't give you a full-on guarantee about kids off the age waiver, but like I said, we've always gotten everyone in. If COVID spread slows and we are no longer in a pandemic, will things go back to normal as far as those protocols go? We sure hope so. We are following all the Kent County Health Department guidance. Everything that we do in our schools is based on what the health department says is safe for our county. And I guarantee you, the minute the health department says that we don't have to wear masks anymore and that we're safe to intermingle, we will be taking off our masks and intermingling as soon as it is safe. We can't wait for that either. Okay, how can you get involved? I told you we love parents at Cedar Trails. Plus, it's the best year to be involved when your kids are brand new, because then you get to meet all the parents of the kids that are the same age as your kids that you'll end up being with for the rest of your kid's career. When it's a non-COVID year, we love to have parent volunteers in the classroom. You can come as many days a week as you want. We like to know, the teachers will even send out schedules for parents who want to have a recurring volunteer time, but also you can just come once in a while if that's what fits in your day. We also have some parents who can't come into school because they work, but they like to volunteer and help teachers with things they can do at home, like maybe organizing their book orders or helping them organize a family picnic or something like that. On a regular non-COVID year, each one of our grade levels gets to take a field trip. We have parent-teacher conferences in the fall and the spring, and our goal is always 100% attendance. We love to talk to you about your amazing kids. We have special events. March is Reading Month is a big deal, and we have guest readers come all the time. We have bring your parent to school day, which is kind of like bring your kid to work day, except reversed. We have classroom parties for the winter holidays and Valentine's and fall harvest, and families are always invited to all of those things. And then we are always looking for parents to help with our PTO. Our PTO at Cedar Trails is amazing. For example, at our last PTO meeting 3 weeks ago, they asked if there was anything special they could do for the teachers, because this has been a really hard year. And teachers feel really isolated because they can't hang out with their colleagues, and everybody is in their little classroom pod. And we all know people who've gotten sick, and it's been really a hard year. The PTO decided that twice a week from now until the end of the year, they're bringing a surprise for the staff. There's 85 staff in this building, so last week, to celebrate National Popcorn Day, they brought microwave popcorn for everybody. The week before, they set up a huge coffee bar with all kinds of flavored creams and tasty treats. And they had Pack Your Lunch Day one day last week, and the whole conference room in the lunchroom or in the teacher's lounge was full of munchy, delicious snacks. And I literally have had teachers coming to me with tears in their eyes about how nice it is to get some love from parents, because this year, because of COVID, we can't have any guests in the building. And I think that's a huge part of why they are feeling lonely, because we usually have so much parent involvement. So the PTO is amazing, and we would love to have you help with that. As I said, we have a great family support team here. Our school counselor, Christine, is here every day. She does check in and check out with some of our friends. She runs little small group counseling sessions. She's done like divorce support or support for people who have lost family members. She does friendship groups with kids who need a little extra help figuring out how to ask when they can play. And she does some one-on-one break times for some of our kiddos who just need a reset once in a while in their class. Cedar Springs Public Schools has a partnership with KSSN, and they are tied in with our Arbor Circle counselors and also our DHHS partners. And they basically coordinate all kinds of things for our families, including our food banks and referrals to any services that you might need. They help people get involved in school and come and participate. And in general, they just work really hard to increase the quality of life for all of our families. And we're so lucky to be a KSSN school. As I said, we've got Arbor Circle, which is our Elise therapist, and we have Margaret, our DHHS worker, who is right in our building helping us. Here's a little bit more information about Campus Kids. It's $9 for before care and $9 for after care each day, or $17 for both. And if you go to the main website, under parents, you get right to Campus Kids, and you can enroll there and get information about our summer camp that we hold, and registration for next year will be up there probably in July. And finally, one more thing I just want to tell you, just because if you have an incoming kindergartner or young fiver, chances are you might also have someone smaller than that at home. And another thing that's amazing about Cedar Springs Public Schools is that we actually have a program for families with kids from birth to 4. And if you've never heard of Bright Beginnings or Parents as Teachers, it's an absolutely amazing program. You get parenting advice and help on how to help your crawling kid learn how to walk, how to help potty train your kids, what's good healthy eating. They have play groups when it's not COVID, where you bring your babies in for a play group and you get to meet other parents. They also do developmental screenings and vision and hearing screening there, and they can connect you to resources and all kinds of other amazing things that we have in our community. And it's so nice to get connected with families of other young children. Just this year alone, we have 20 families that are getting home visits, and it's impacting 32 kids. 10% of their kids are 4 and 5. So those are kids who are already in preschool and kindergarten, but they can help families with kids up to 4 or 5. They've offered 37 referrals to outside agencies for families who need other things. They've done 107 screenings for vision and hearing, and also development. Every time they come for a home visit, they bring a book for your kiddo to keep. And we have 4 parent educators in our school district to help. And here's a little quote from a parent. From a parent educator. I work with a 5-year-old boy in Cedar Springs on early reading and writing skills. His parents are also learning more about how to use parent-child activities to support his early learning so that he is ready for kindergarten. So it's just one more way that we wrap around families at Cedar Springs. Okay, that's it. That's the end of my show. I'm gonna look. I look like I have okay, that was a young 5 question I think I answered. It doesn't look like I have any questions in the
Wait.
chat. I'm
Oh,
gonna
there
quit
is.
sharing my screen. Yep, go ahead.
There's
Chris.
one. There's one question. Does Cedar still do the gift of a year if they are not ready for first grade? I didn't know how to quite answer that
Yeah,
and be
let me answer it.
on point.
Well, I will answer it for you. So, gift of a year used to be what we did when we didn't have Young 5, where everybody came to kindergarten and then we would retain a really large amount of kids for a second year of kindergarten. We haven't done that since I became the principal here because there isn't any research out there anywhere that supports retention as something helpful to kids, unless it's a really extreme situation for a really disrupted year, like maybe a family emergency or a big medical condition or something like that. In general, kids do not get better having a second year of the same content. It doesn't increase their success later in school. And actually, by 3rd grade, those kids who were retained are usually doing worse than they would have had they not been retained. So it's a very rare occasion that we would retain a kindergartner. But I will say that that is ultimately always a parent decision. Okay. But I would work really hard to convince you not to. All right. I'm going to pull up some more questions and answers here. I'm hoping that COVID is behind us too, but if it's not, how different is the school day and the timing of the day? Really, the only difference with the timing is that our day this year starts at 9 instead of 8:30, so that transportation can have time to sanitize the buses between the secondary route and the elementary route. And as I said, we have outdoor rec instead of indoor specials classes. And that really is the only difference as far as the schedule goes. Can my daughter do young 5s for birthdays in August? I feel more comfortable with young 5s prior to kindergarten. As long as I have room, she can. And then if we get her in young 5 and realize she needed to be in kindergarten, we'll talk about moving her to where she needs to go. Do GSRP preschoolers get hearing and vision? Yes, they should get it. And if they don't, we will make sure they get it with the appointments that we make. All right.
Can I make a comment about those GSRP kids and hearing and vision?
Of
If
course.
your child is in GSRP or in our tuition preschool here at Cedar Springs this year, if they get their hearing and vision done this year at Cedar Springs, don't worry about bringing in the paper. Miss Carrie will give it to me.
Yeah, so GSRP gives the results from their vision and hearing directly to us at Trails. So we have it for you, unless your kiddo misses the vision and hearing, and then we'll see that they don't have a sheet and we will get them scheduled. The online enrollment form is user-friendly. Well done. And thank you for this presentation. Oh, that's me too. And will there be a senior tractor parade? I will tell you, the senior tractor parade is one of the best things we do at Cedar Springs schools. And my guess is that because it would be outside and we would be socially distanced, that we would hopefully be able to wave at our high school kids on their tractors, because we absolutely love that. Another thing that we do in a normal year is we have a great end of year celebration for our graduating seniors. And we actually have a graduation parade where the seniors and the marching band and the Red Hawk and stuff march from district office by Mr. Smith along Holton Drive right past Cedar Trails, and the beach kids and the view kids and the trails kids come out and we cheer for them. They wear their caps and gowns and they high five our little babies, and it's a huge big deal for everybody. So I'm really hopeful we get to do those things too. All right, did I miss anything? It looks like I got all the questions in the question and answers. Anything else that we can help you with? She also asked a question before the tractor parade. Darn, look, I got so excited about the tractor parade.
I saw a hearing and vision one. If you get it done anywhere else, yeah, I'll need it. Sorry.
All right, let me see the question that was asked before the tractor.
Oh, what is she expected to know before kindergarten?
Oh, what is she expected to know before kindergarten? Well, as I said earlier, being ready for kindergarten means they have a birthday that's the right time. That's That's how they get here. That's the ticket. If I could say, what does my ideal kid have ready for kindergarten? I would say they could probably sit crisscross applesauce on a carpet, listening to a book for 5 minutes, maybe. It would be great if they could zip their coat. If they can't tie their shoes, which they probably can't, maybe think about getting them Velcro shoes for the beginning, and we will teach them how to tie. We have kids come into kindergarten who can write their names first and last, and we have kids who come into kindergarten who can't even recognize their name in print. However your kiddos come, we take them and we teach them what the next step is for what they need to know. The most important thing for kiddos when they come to school is that they can figure out how to follow directions and be kind to one another. And we even intentionally teach that. So, okay, let's see. I just had another question there. If they're already in preschool, do we need to provide the birth certificate again? You do.
Yes.
Yes, you do. But oftentimes your current preschool teacher will say, would you like me to, oh, well, Chrissy's going to want to see your original. Never mind.
No, I
No.
would. No.
Nice. Okay. So usually
I want to see your original, but if you don't have it and you have a copy, why, I'll take that.
Okay, well, she's so flexible. Yeah, so many times our preschool teachers will just copy your birth certificate for you at the end of the school year because they know you're going to need it for kindergarten.
Yes,
And
then don't let them keep it in the file because that's illegal.
Oh yeah, there you have it. Make them give it back. Those preschool teachers. Oh, I can only say that because I was a preschool teacher. Do you know how similar the curriculum is between the GSRP program and the Young Fives program? The curriculum is really pretty similar. So if you have a kiddo who's on the age waiver, you really could, on the age waiver, have them do GSRP if they haven't done preschool, which is free preschool, or you could have them do Young Five. I would suggest not doing them both because they are very, very similar programs. When are the vision and hearing screenings held? We're going to be getting those scheduled shortly, and we'll be advertising it everywhere. It'll be on the enrollment page. It'll be on the Cedar Trails page. We'll be sending it out all over the place. Did you say lunch was provided, or would that be sent? We have hot lunch and food service every day. We also have breakfast provided if you are interested in that. Do you have any tools for kids who have a hard time focusing? Every kid in my building has a hard time focusing. It's because they're 5. But yes, actually we do. One thing about early childhood is that kiddos with ADHD and things like that aren't diagnosed yet. They don't really diagnose 4-year-olds with ADHD. And so we have many kids in our building who can't sit still for 5 minutes, and we are used to taking care of their needs. We have differentiated seating in all of our classrooms, so kids can choose to stand, or they can choose to sit on a wiggle seat or a blow up ball. Some kids we have these like squishy little pads that we put on their chairs so they can wiggle. We put like really thick rubber bands around the legs of their chairs so that they can kick their feet. And half the teachers and me in this building have ADD. So we all know what it's like, and we all are wiggly together. So we do lots of accommodations for kids who have a hard time focusing. And we try really intentionally to keep our instruction, little chunks of instruction with movement breaks in between. Let me see what this says. Betty, hi Betty. Betty says vision and hearing is May 12th-ish for GSRP. Someone says I don't have Facebook, so I worry about that being the main source of information. Not at all. We put all the stuff importantly that's important on the Cedar Trails website too.
Okay, so Danielle, I know I can't hear you, but you wouldn't sign up for that on the enrollment page once you get into class. For you'll sign up for text messages, for text message alerts. The first day of school, you should get a sheet with all your enrollment stuff, but you don't sign up until then. If you have, keep up your email address, make sure that you check that. But if you make an appointment or we email each other, or you call me, we'll make sure we have it all together.
When do kids arrive for the start time of 8:30? Drop off is 8:25, unless they're at Campus Kids, and then they can be there anytime after 6 a.m. I don't have Facebook either, but we have a wonderful, talented communication director who puts everything on our site. You can also sign up and receive text emails. Yep. Where do I sign up for that? Yep, that's on the enrollment page. Okay, thanks. Great, great, great. Okay. Okay. Last chance. Any last questions?
So there was a question, Beth, at 6:46. How big are kindergarten classes?
Okay.
I don't know if you caught that one.
I didn't, thank you.
And then if they're enrolled in school, will they automatically have a spot in Campus Kids?
Yeah, as long as, yeah, we would just hire more people at Campus Kids. I mean, we have to stay within ratios and stuff, but we have a really big building at Cedar Trails. We would have to have a lot. I mean, we've got like 600 kids here. So we have room for 600 kids. And I bet if 600 kids signed up for Campus Kids, Mr. Smith would say, Beth, you better hire some people and take care of those kids. That's usually what he tells me. Try to figure out how to do it for everyone. This year, our kindergarten classrooms are like at 18, which is lower than usual, but that's intentional because of COVID protocols and because we have 2 kindergarten classes that are fully remote this year. I would say that my goal for regular school is 20, and that sometimes that gets stretched to 22, depending on what our enrollment numbers are. Let's see, more things are coming too. My daughter's in GSRP and did a health appraisal from last year. Does she need a new one for kindergarten? No, she does not. If you have the green form and she was up, her immunizations were up to date, we can use the same one. Oh yes, there we go. Chrissy answers. Chrissy's like the typing man. I don't usually have typing people. This is amazing. Sadie's so excited to start. We are
90 words a minute.
See, I type fast too, but you type way faster than I read. Okay. Yes, the hearing and vision is taken care of at GSRP. Yes, unless your kiddo misses their vision and hearing, and then we get them in the summer. Right? Yay! All right, tomorrow your homework is go to the Cedar Trails page, or actually go to the enrollment page, and you will be able to see this video and the slide deck. So you can click all the links that you want, and you'll be able to start your enrollment because Chrissy's got it up and running earlier than we even thought. And if you ever want to call Cedar Trails, you'll either get sweet Miss Carrie or Miss Jenny. I try not to answer the phone, but sometimes I have to. But we're all here to help for anything that you might need. And we're really glad you came tonight. More questions? Oh, what are the resources?
One more question.
What are the resource rooms? Resource rooms are our special education classrooms for kids who have IEPs that need extra time for academic supports outside of a gen ed classroom. So those tend to be our special ed kids who have a more difficult time grasping content and learning information. And so they spend part of their time with a special ed teacher in the resource room so that it can be a smaller group of kids, maybe 3 or 4 at a time, with really intentional teacher support to make sure that they can get the content. All right. Thank you, everybody. We can't wait to meet you in person. Have a great night.
Thank you.